What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I am very excited. And the reason that I'm very excited is because Steamforged have gone and revealed that the Gears of War card game is finally coming out in 2023. And I'm going to be a little bit cheeky here because I knew this. Well, no, that's not strictly true. I did not know that it was coming out in 2023. But you'll notice I made a video about this card game back in 2020. Not only that, but when I went to the UK Games Expo this past May, there were a couple of companies I really wanted to talk to. And one of the companies that I really wanted to talk to was Steamforged, and we'll talk in a minute. Steamforged have made awesome games, really awesome games. However, the one that I really wanted to talk about was this. I wanted to talk about the Gears of War card game because I was talking about it on this channel back in 2020. It was announced it was coming, and then it went very quiet. And then we didn't hear anything about it. And then I got a little bit worried. So when I went to the UK Games Expo, and I found the lovely folks in Steamforged Games, my first question to them very simply was, what is going on with the Gears of War card game? Is it still coming? Has it been cancelled? And I'm not going to relay our conversation word for word. If nothing else, that would be kind of rude. But basically, they told me, yeah, don't worry, it's still coming. It's not been cancelled. It's still on the way. You will hear more soon. And that was good enough for me. And don't get me wrong, like what I really wanted was for them to say, oh no, it's real, here's a copy of it. But the fact that it was coming and the fact that it wasn't cancelled, that was good enough for me, ladies and gentlemen. That was good enough for me. So, what actually is it? Now, there's a few things we need to talk about here that's pretty gosh darned important. Because, first things first, it is a card game. It is not a trading card game. And that is very, very different. I would love it, absolutely love it, to be a trading card game, because by now you guys are probably fairly aware that I love trading card games. I am a huge fan of trading card games. This is not a trading card game, this is a card game, which is to say there is going to be one box, and you pick up the box, and it's got all the cards in, and you go and play the game. I showed you a little while ago that Sonic came as a card game, and lovely folks at Steamforged did actually send me a copy of this. I have reviewed it on the channel. Shout out to them for being awesome. And it's a really fun game. The general way I saw with Sonic was fun game, nice branding, but you could reskin it as almost any game whatsoever. It didn't need to be Sonic, and the branding of Sonic and all was cool, but it didn't feel like a Sonic game. It felt like a fun game with Sonic branding on. But if anyone's wondering, I'd recommend Sonic. It's a cool game. It's a fun game. I enjoyed it. I like it. I still play it sometimes. Point is, they've done this before. But remember, they did the Dark Souls card game, and they have done expansions for the Dark Souls card game. And this is the kind of thing that Steamforged do. They work on a bunch of licensed properties. One of my favourite games, in fact, probably my favourite game that they have made is Horizon. They did a Horizon tabletop game, and it is absolutely amazing, absolutely stunning. Huge fan of that game. Love it. There are many expansions for Horizon Zero Dawn, the board game. There are many of them. And this is a good thing, incidentally, because what this basically means is that they're opening it up for the future. Does this guarantee there's going to be expansions? No, obviously not. Does it open up the possibility of there being expansions? Yes. Yes, it does. So, I'm not telling you one way or the other. What I am telling you is there is a decent chance, and that's a good thing. But for now, it's a card game, not a trading card game. And for all the people, because I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, we don't want this. We want a new Gears of War video game. Obviously, we want a new Gears of War video game. This isn't Microsoft, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't the Coalition. Gears of War 5, or Gears 5 as it is now, came out in September 2019, which means this year will be the 4th anniversary of Gears 5. For what it's worth, there was a 3-year gap between Gears 4 and Gears 5, so the fact that there's going to be a 4-year gap by the time we get to, the latter part of this year makes it kind of likely there will be Gears 6 this year. Not announcing anything, but the deal is very simple. Microsoft have a bunch of big franchises like Gears, and those franchises make lots of money. So they're going to keep making games. For what it's worth, Gears Tactics came out in April 2020. Love that game. I'm actually going to replay it soon. I picked it up and it works on Steam Deck and I'm delighted about that. Point is, obviously Microsoft are working on Gears 6. Why would they not be working on Gears 6? Of course they're working on Gears 6. There is literally zero chance that they are not working on Gears 6. Oh, actually, as a side note, they did also release Hivebusters, a DLC, late 2020. So the fact that they've done Tactics and Hivebusters kind of does explain why it's taken a little bit longer to get to releasing Gears 6. All right? It's fine, ladies and gentlemen. It's fine. The point is, they're going to be making Gears 6. That's kind of obvious. This isn't Microsoft or the Coalition. This is Steamforged. They make a bunch of games. They make really good games. They make lots of good licensed games. Like this. They're not making this instead of making Gears 6. They were just given the license by Microsoft and the Coalition. And then they're going off and making a card game. This has absolutely nothing to do with the video games in terms of who's making it, effective release dates, etc. It is a licensed card game. Now, in terms of how the game works, we don't have a huge amount of information. I can show you a bunch of COG cards, and I can show you a bunch of Locust cards, but it does need to be borne in mind, these are COG cards and Locust cards from before. From when it was released in 2020. And the fact is, the amount of information we have is very, very limited. Steamforged sent out a tweet saying, the rumors are true, be ready, Gears of War the card game deploys in 2023, and they gave us this logo. That's it. I'm not pausing for dramatic effect. That is the full extent of the information they've given us about this. That is all we know. Are they redesigning the cards? I don't know. And I'm not saying that to try and make you think they're redesigning the cards. What I mean is, I don't know. It's been like 2 years since we've heard anything about this game. More than. That is easily long enough to redesign significant portions of the game. So the card images I've shown you before, and any information I've given you about before may or may not still be true. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. They could have changed large parts of this. They could have changed absolutely nothing. Maybe this is what Marcus Phoenix looks like. Maybe it's not. I mean, it's what Marcus looks like. I'm saying that maybe it's, maybe that's what the card looks like finally. Maybe it's not. I showed you a bunch of information about this card game previously, and maybe this is true, maybe it's not. Previously, it came from veteran card designer Tyler Beelman from Magic the Gathering, and it's going to combine luck of the draw with careful use of the cards in your hand to control cover, harness weapons, and crush your enemies. Cover is a big deal in the Gears of War. And then, it goes on to say it's an immersive way to enjoy Gears in a brand new format. It's a story-driven campaign-style game. The decisions you make in each narrative scenario will have serious consequences on the battlefield and those that follow. And I like going through scenarios and having my decisions have consequences moving on. That's amazing. Strike at the right moment, make your cards work together, fight together, stand together, die together. Choose how to develop your forces as you play for unique narrative scenarios, each with their own objective and terrain layout. Each win or loss will affect the content of your deck in the next scenario. Again, that whole your choices matter thing, allowing success or failure to impact your experience of the game. And you can play as Locust or the COG. The thing is, we don't know how much of this is still true. Like, that's a description that we had, over 2 years ago when the game was first announced. Maybe that still holds true, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. And that's kind of my point here. This might remain true, it might not remain true. I am a huge Gears of War fan. Like, obviously on my other channel, PTCG Radio, I am a Pokemon guy. Pokemon is my main thing, alright? But outside of Pokemon, my 3 favourite video game franchises are Horizon Zero Dawn, hence probably one of the reasons I love Steamfall's game with it so much. Persona, because come on, who doesn't love Persona? 3, 4, and 5 are amongst 3 of the best video games ever made. And then Gears of War. So, I'm a huge fan of this, and I'm going to buy this. Like, this is day one for me. Day one for me, this is a purchase. I'm so excited about this game. And I have an awful lot of faith for 2 reasons. Firstly, Steamforged make good games. And also, Horizon Zero Dawn, the tabletop game, it really feels true to Horizon Zero Dawn. I told you how the Sonic card game didn't really feel like Sonic that much. That was very much kind of like a fun family game kind of thing. But Horizon really felt like Horizon Zero Dawn. And I believe Gears of War will as well. And also, if we look at games like, Gears Tactics, that's a Gears of War spin-off that really did Gears of War justice. Really did it a lot of justice. So you know what? I'm kind of optimistic. I think this is going to be good. Like I've said, I've shown you some, proper, concrete information about the game, but you've got to take this in the context of we don't know how much of this is still true. We don't know how much has changed since we first heard about this game. We have no idea. And it would be foolish at this stage to just assume it was going to be exactly the same. I'm not saying it has been redesigned at all, but I'm saying it has been long enough that it might have been, and for that reason we cannot assume that it hasn't been. A couple of things I can tell you for absolute certainty. It is a card game. It is not a trading card game. And I can tell you that it has nothing to do with, the Coalition and Microsoft in terms of making it. They have I'm assuming not. They have licensed it to Steamforged, and they're going to make an awesome game with it, because that's the kind of thing they do. I know this is not perfect, and I wish I could tell you more, but I'm excited, and you should be too. But I want to hear from you guys. I want to know how excited you are. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk about a whole bunch of card games like this one. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord and chat with us, all kinds of lovely fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.